What's your vocal warm-up? You got to do.
Ba da da ba do.
I'm like the worst for mispronouncing things. Do you think experimental?
Let me start that again.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Terrible. Right, that was terrible. Right, let's just scrap the whole podcast.
What else? Oh my God, I wasn't expecting this question.
You've got a bit of lipstick on your teeth.
Oh, fun. Has that been there the whole time?
Kind of still can't find Excel, and that's 10 years on. Sorry.
Thank you.
Right, Paul, how do you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Have you ever wondered why some brands grow exponentially, building legions of passionate fans that live and die by their logos, and some, well, don't? I do, all the time, and that's probably because I'm a massive brand nerd, but I believe there's a secret sauce at the core of every remarkable brand, a formula that sparks the growth of passionate communities of superfans, building a business and a reputation that will last for years to come. My name is Paul Archer, and I'm a specialist in brand advocacy and word of mouth, having consulted for hundreds of brands on a topic.
Hey, it's Verity here, your co-host of the Building Brand Advocacy podcast.
In this podcast, we tap into the greatest marketing minds in the world as they share the exact tactics and strategies used to build the world's greatest brands, dropping actionable insights every brand builder can apply.
We've got some incredible guests coming up, sharing insights and tips that can truly shift the marketing landscape. If you want to be the first to hear, make sure you hit that follow button. The more people following the show, the bigger and better we can make it. So if you're loving what you hear, don't forget to follow and spread the word. Thanks again for listening. It really means a lot. I hope you enjoy this next episode.
It's time to learn and build brand advocacy.
Welcome to Building Brand Advocacy, the podcast all about understanding how the greatest brand builders in the world built their brands, what their tips, their tricks, their tactics that work for them, so you can steal them unapologetically and be better at what you do. And this is a very, very special episode because you are joined by me, Paul Archer, and Verity Hurd.
Hello. Oh my God, this has been a long time since we've been on one together, Paul.
It has. There's been a few things brewing over the past 6 months, which I will share with you. Why is it that we're doing this together today?
Well, we are on our 100th episode, and I think that is one milestone to definitely celebrate because, not many people get here when it comes to podcasts. So huge shout out to the both of us for getting this far, and also a massive shout out to all our wonderful guests. We have interviewed over 100 people. We've had 3 social commerce summits in London and New York, sold out as well, which is the Building Brand Advocacy Live. Yeah, just the greatest minds, like you said, from CMOs, founders to industry experts. So definitely celebrating today. Do you know what, actually, Paul? The one thing I love the most about all of this is when people reach out and tell me that they've used the episodes to educate their teams, or they've used it to kind of switch up their strategies or to try a new tactic. And I think that is what it's all about for me.
Yeah, it's wild. So 100 podcasts. It's almost 3 years. We're going to have our 3rd birthday coming up, but we have a different celebration for that. But for this one, we're going to do it a bit different. We've got a few kind of clips of both of our favorite episodes, which we're going to be kind of moving into now. But before we get to that bit, like, Verity, hit us with some stats. Like, what is it that people need to know about what's happened over the past 100?
Yeah, like I said, amazing guests. Over 100 people have been on this show. We are a top 10 marketing podcast. We are streamed in over 23 countries.
23?
23 countries, yeah.
What's really cool now is actually quite a lot of people are asking to come on as well because they're listening to it and they're either asking for themselves or recommending a friend that we should get on as well. So we love that. So if you do have someone who you think is just like blowing at the doors off it when it comes to building brand advocacy, we want to speak to them. So please get in touch.
Paul, 100 episodes in, did you ever think we would get this far? I mean, especially for you, because you pressed record on that first episode way before I joined.
Yeah, the old MacBook mic job, which which served well for a while. And you look back, you're like, ugh. I don't know whether I didn't expect to get to 100, but I wasn't sure as whether anyone would actually be listening if I did. For me, it started off as a project because I was really interested in learning what that special secret source of brand building was, and I just couldn't get access to enough people to try and do it. So I figured I could kind of blag it by actually putting them on a podcast and use that as an excuse to ask them all the questions I always wanted, because I'm super interested in the way that kind of like when you hear the same sort of narrative a few times, like brand building's like a really nebulous thing, and people talk about it as if it's this art that people get, and I don't. That's just not the way my brain thinks. Like I think that there must be a science to this, just no one's worked it out, and so that was the reason why. And like the more people we speak to, the more correlation there is, the more that advocacy is this embedded piece that kind of sits in there, and kind of like it has informed me in a core vision, which is like, if companies build for advocacy, have that philosophy, which is like, instead of sales, so build for advocacy instead of sales, they are better companies for it, and they're better because they grow more and they're more profitable, and they drive at those. But it's also better for the world because they're better to work for. They're better for their customers. They care about the whole sort of ecosystem, and it just has this transformational effect that goes down. And every single one of those super top end brands, particularly at that moment in time when they're growing really, really fast, a lot of brands kind of lose it, but when a brand is actually at that point when the upward inflection curve is happening, they're doing all this stuff right, and they're all doing the same kind of well, they're not necessarily the same tactics, but they're approaching it from the same principles. They're always caring about the humans involved. They are building for advocacy, not for sales, and that's actually where it gets to. So, like, this podcast was that kind of excuse for me to blag into that, and now it's really cool because now other people are sort of buying into it and want to listen to these people, and we can use this as a great learning experience, not just for me and for you, but also for everyone who wants to get involved.
Yeah, I think the thing that I really loved about this podcast is the tactical part of it, because you get so many sort of fluff and so many like really high level pieces of content, whether it's a podcast or what you see on socials, and you actually don't get much from it. You can't walk away from it and implement much from it. So that is the one thing around this podcast that I love, and how, we dig into that with the guests. And I think as well, this for me, like getting to this moment, the conversations that we've been having recently with marketers is that they need a space like this. They need to, like you just said, for a long time, it's felt like marketing was this like secret, what everyone was doing, and they weren't allowed to talk about it, and everyone had to keep everything under wraps. And to an element, they do sometimes, but also most of the time, no, we need a safe space. This industry evolves so quickly and so fast that, these open conversations are really helping people. So, yeah.
Well, I think first of all, the tactical thing was definitely your doing. So if you listen to the sort of earlier episodes with me, it was very much high level strategic, like philosophical, and I think kind of what you brought to it is a real tactical mindset of just like, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Like, how did you actually do that? And I've kind of learned from that and tried to adopt it myself in terms of the way that I'm chatting to guests as well, because actually it's a great way of pulling out the information that's useful for everyone, not just kind of like, here's how I thought about it.
Also, a really good point to this as well, and another side to it, is that it's a conversation I had yesterday with a great bunch of marketers, and the consumer journey is changing so much, right? If I think about the way that I kind of shop on social media now, it'll be TikTok. I even go to Reddit. I'm jumping all over the place before I kind of make that decision. And when I see sort of like PGC or creators kind of advertising something, if they're showing me, let's say, skincare, and it's all one brand, like that turns me off. And I'm like, I want to see, because people don't do that now. We're mixing our products up so much. And I think that's the reality of it. And the conversation I had last night was that, this beauty brand was saying that they actually want their products to be mixed with other brands' products as well, because that's more authentic. Because, we want this product for a certain thing, we want another product for a certain thing, and not one brand's kind of offering all of that. And I think I think brands do need to start talking more to each other and integrating in that sense, because also reflects in the consumer journey, if that makes any sense, but in my head it did.
Yes, all these skincare brands basically are selling exactly the same ointment in a tube, but it's actually the branding and the marketing that makes it different, which actually why I think it's such an interesting category. It's super high margin and it's super homogenous, which means that it's therefore probably the most fun place to play as a brand builder and as a marketer. It's true, actually. If you're on like any of the kind of the creator affiliate platforms, ShopMy's and LTKs, people are tagging this is this top from this brand, they're this jeans from this place, and like multi-brands, and that's the way that people want to like shop the look and do that. So I can sort of, I mean, it's great when people start to embrace it, but I can't imagine it's going to be the case because there's still these big walled gardens. But right, anyway, we're supposed to be talking about 100 episodes. Like, what was the biggest surprise for you since starting out?
The big surprise for me is when I've been speaking to people and I've had a reply and they go, I love your podcast. I'm big fans of you and Paul. And these are guys from big, some of the hottest brands in the world. And I'm like, oh my God, they're actually listening to what we're saying. And obviously not just us, but our amazing guests. But that has been the biggest surprise.
That's great, because that like never happens to me. So it's it's clearly you're the memorable one. So, was there a guest that like changed your thinking about brand building and advocacy that just like came out with something that just caused you to do an about turn on something you held very close?
I don't think there's been one guest that's sort of completely changed how I think about things. There's been several guests that have done different things to me. We've had Joe, the founder of Scamp and Dude, and I think really showcasing, I mean, she nearly got me crying because of her brand story and how it all came about, and the true kind of passion that she has and the mission that they're on as a brand. It's really inspiring. And so there's episodes like that just show to me that there are actual, real brands out there, trying to do real stuff for other people. And then, the real tactical ones, like, Miranda, who's recently been on, she's really made me think about some of the content that we're creating ourselves recently, and, getting into the real nitty gritty of like hooks and all of that stuff. And then we had like Sakai on, who was talking about brand universes, and that was really interesting as a concept. So yeah, there's been not one, but everyone in some way has kind of helped me shape my thoughts around advocacy and brand building. Nice. What has been your biggest surprise over the 100 episodes?
What has surprised me is how much, for my biggest learning was actually the way what I mentioned earlier, is that I've got this kind of like high level strategist mindset of these things, and the way that you're asking questions and realization that that's exactly what people are crying out for. And then suddenly, once I had that insight, I'm then going to all these conferences and I'm just like, oh my God, this is so dull. There's just like super high level, superficial sort of level, and it's so boring. And that's why people like don't want to go and listen to these people at these conferences, because there's nothing to take away. There's no tips. What we want the numbers. Just tell me the numbers. And as we were saying earlier, like, it's not about the competitive element, because this is the kind of the crucial piece that we can really understand. And if your numbers are great, your metrics are great, it makes you sound great too. And I'm really glad that we've been able to open that conversation up with people. Can I talk about this? Can I talk about this thing I talk about every single day, but I'm not really allowed to talk? And then when they start flowing, you can see it's just like a moment of relief, because they're so proud. Like, there's a professional pride and curiosity in each other that I think this kind of unlocks. So I think that's something which you've given me, which was surprising, which I thought was ace. And I think the content after that has just been infinitely better.
Thank you, Paul. Well, yeah, I think it's interesting what you said about it's a pride thing, and when you see that when people start talking about it. But also, I think we're in a generation now where personal brands and, LinkedIn, and, it's a showcase as well, isn't it? In the nicest possible way. Like, we want to showcase our accomplishments and, campaigns and, things that have really worked for us. And also what I love is that people are not afraid to talk about their failures as well and things that haven't worked. And I love this kind of like I said, this generation that we're in now, that we feel that as marketers, we can talk about this stuff a lot more. So yeah, that's kind of where we've wanted to go with it. Tap into it. Paul, what have we got coming up?
Well, we've got, we're kind of changing the format a little bit. We're kind of starting to make it a bit season-y so that we can focus on different topics. We can have a little break in between, and we can make sure you've got that regularity of it when the episodes are coming out, which is interesting. We're going to run the experiment. Love to hear what you think about that, because this is all about feedback. Similarly, also just feedback in general. I periodically get emails from people who are just like, "Oh, I really like this." That's the stuff that we need. So, what do you love? What don't you love? What do you find really annoying? Yeah, that's also helpful. You can start doing that. That's easy to do. So yeah, so please do drop emails. I'm Paul at buildingbrandadvocacy.com, and Verity is Verity at buildingbrandadvocacy.com. So you can drop us an email. If it's negative, send it to Verity. But if it's like praise and stuff, just send it just to me. That's cool. And then
if you find Paul really annoying, then we can get him off the podcast.
And then should we jump into some of the clips now?
Yes, 100%. Let's do it. So, Paul, I want to kick off with Beth Thomas, the social director at Frankly. Beth has blown us away with her episode. It has become our number one episode of all time. And yeah, she is just a wealth of knowledge. She really dug into some interesting conversations. Community. She does, she said not every brand needs a community. What does community actually mean? I think community has become a massive buzzword. People are getting it wrong. They think replying to, comments on social media is community management, and it's just not. And a big topic that not many people are talking about now, social search as well. So this is my first pick.
Nice. And what I love about this one is that it wasn't promoted or pushed in any particular way, but it's just like the classic advocacy story is just like the content was great. The value that people got from this content, I've heard people talk about it. They shared around their teams, they shared it with their friends, like, check out this bit. I love the way that she spoke about this. That's the way that word of mouth happens. And this episode is just like, you can see why, because it's packed bang full of all these valuable tactical takeaways that you just can get your pad and paper out and just like write them down, and then go into work and just be like, right, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I saw a post on it, and someone on it said, listen to this episode and I've completely changed the way that I work social search now. So yeah, it's amazing. Take a listen.
I think that whether you are a brand or creator or whoever's listening who wants to do search or not, just the basic rules that apply to search are going to help your content get seen by more people. So let's think, you make a piece of content, whatever you are making that about. If you're not adding text natively, if you're adding a caption that's like maybe your tone of voice is like quite funny and you want to just put a bit of a funny one-liner in there. You've probably read that hashtags, who knows if you should use hashtags, you decided not to, you just put this witty one-liner. You send this post out into the world on social, and how are those social platforms supposed to know what that content is? So again, whether it's search or not, you need to be telling them how to categorize your content. And that is, I found using native text in apps when I've trialed does help do this, but also captions. Who knows about hashtags and how helpful they are or not, but that is something that we do. So I think as well as that, tagging location settings, if you are someone who's making content about top chip shops in London, like tagging London, putting that as we talk about adding a hook on screen, and that would be your text hook that you would add natively. Adding hashtags in there, those are ways to do that. And as well as ranking for search, that will also help the platforms know what your content is and who to show it to, because we know they don't show it to your followers anymore.
That was amazing. So my pick to kick things off is our good friend of the pod, Leah Haberman. this is the idea that social first is actually a full business shift. We remember we were sort of jamming on it, that this is just great advice for any company about looking at it. Social media was a thing that maybe the intern did, but actually the brands that are winning today are the ones that are killing at social. So social media, like the stats in it is like all of the different web places where people's attention were like TV, OTT, everything like that. That makes up 35% of people's attention, and social makes up 65% of people's attention. So a company's social media strategy is the company's strategy for tapping into the majority of people's attention. And no longer can it be something that the intern can be running. This has to be core to what you do not just as a marketing team, but as an organization. And I think that Leah really, really brings this to life in this episode, in this little snippet that we've got for you here.
I would say social first is really like a big buzzword this year. And social first does not mean shooting in, vertical format. Social first does not mean being on a certain platform, doing short form video, for example. Social first really is a company initiative. It's everything. It's how you empower your employee advocacy program. It's getting your executives on LinkedIn or doing a podcast or, anything like that. I mean, it's an entire company effort to be social first, in addition to the output of your social team, the creators that you work with. It's the whole thing. Yeah. So that's kind of one trend that I see this year, that people are starting to realize, okay, it's the entire company needs to get on board, cross department.
Okay, my second clip is also one from a live summit that we did last year, and this is with Charlotte from Refi. Just again, another brand doing incredible stuff out there. In this, she talks about nanos and micros having the bigger impact, how they're building more trust, the stronger engagement, and just better content sometimes. And as always, advocates over ads. So this is about your fans really educating, engaging, and converting better than those big influencers. So yeah, great episode. And again, some real tactical stuff to take away.
For us, product education has been the number one goal with creators. And what we've been trying to do is figure out what creators work best for that. And the more we dig into it, it is more the nanos, it is more the micros, because not only do they put the effort into their content because they have such trust with their audience, because it is smaller and they do have time to engage with everyone and really build and strengthen that community. But they also really care about making sure that everything's right and speaking properly to the product, and they want to grow as well. So it sounds parasitic that they want to grow as well, but it means that they're going to listen to all the advice that you give them to make sure that it's communicated effectively and everyone's using it properly. And that's been number one for us. I think moving forward as well, just if I'm going to beat the drum of anything, it's just go for those smaller tier creators, the guys that really love your brand, and they're going to do the best work for you, whether it's educating about your product or driving brand awareness, in my opinion.
Oh, cool. I love doing that interview. That was really, really fun, actually, because there was just amazing people on stage there, and she was just killing it. So for my next pick, I am bringing in Colette from the Inkey List. Now, this was one of those episodes that had to be massively cut because we were giggling, I think, too much whilst doing it. So a ton of fun to do. So I really look back on that fondly. And I think that, what I love about that brand is, talking to an entrepreneur and the way that she sort of built it just with this kind of core set of values, and then has this long-term view on it. And she just continued to build and to build and to build, sticking to their brand, sticking to what they do well, no shortcuts, no trend chasing, just sticking with it. And now they're a $100 million plus brand. And I think the way she articulates this and kind of keeps the brand's personality, which is also her personality, and they're so wonderfully intertwined. It's just an absolute masterclass in brand building. Check it out.
The reason that people resonated with the Inkey List was our true authenticity. So, Paul, speaking to you now, if I met you down the pub, or if I was selling to you in a boot store, or I was at an influencer event, I am who I am, and I am an authentic founder, and our team are authentic and genuine. And that's great when you're an indie brand and you're super small and you can really have that human touch point, but it is definitely much harder as you scale. And for me, that has been the biggest challenge, but the biggest factor of our success is truly staying authentic to who we are, making sure that everything we do is human and personal. So how do we give skincare education? We have a Ask Inkey service, which is a one-on-one skincare support service. Team answering DMs or comments and speaking to people on social. It's real and it's human, and we do everything we can to make that experience as personal and as human as possible. Using tech to support us to get there, but building a big team of people, whether that be skincare experts online through to field team out in stores. We're just trying to spread the word in the most human and authentic way possible.
Awesome. I love Colette as well, and she is the epitome of kind of like founder-led stories on Instagram as well. So if you're not following her, definitely check her out. I want to talk about Carol from Simprove, because I think Carol is probably the first guest that we had on who is head of advocacy. So great to actually have advocacy in a job title. Carol and the work that they're doing at Simprove is just next level. And she just had a completely different mindset when it came to talking about advocacy. And she just got it in so many different ways. You know, she talks about, you know, this isn't about vanity metrics. There's no quick wins. This is, you know, this is the long game stuff that we talk about. Real word of mouth, and the way that they work with so many different people. You know, their employees are bought in from day one. They work with professionals, you know, with the doctors all the way through to, you know, they work with influencers through to the nanos and the micros as well. So they have that full marketing mix in there. And something that, you know, Simprove sticks to the try before you talk about it advocate rule. So everybody gets gifted. And I know you talk about that a lot, Paul. So they really live into that. So this is, you know, next level clip for me.
It's really fundamental to me and the team that people who work with us are genuine fans. I think the guy was shocked because he was like, not many brands do that. And it would be, okay, we'll gift it. And can you post? We gift, if you post, you post. It's on you because it's such a personal product. And that might be the key differentiator, that we are a very different product than anything else. No, not anything else out there, because we're in the health and wellness space. There's plenty of supplements out there. But it's not a dress, and it's not a lipstick, and it's not a quickly try it, see what you think. Okay, we can work together. Is you've got to take time. So we have to be prepared to invest in that. But it was just the way he said it was forward thinking. And I went, oh, to me, it's not. It's just the way we've always operated. And it's kind of like guardians of the brand, really, that you're only going to work with genuine people.
Okay, so I want to talk about Lucy Island from Never Fully Dressed. The founder was, and I'm putting this one in this because this was a bit more of like a personal one for me. Like as you know, Paul, I'm a big fan of Never Fully Dressed. And Lucy was the first founder that I ever interviewed. So it was a big moment for me, obviously interviewing someone that I've been a fan of for such a long time. And also, you know, the fact that she's a founder, it's a big deal for me. And I think Never Fully Dressed have been one of the OGs when it comes to advocacy, and, you know, their tagline, their customers are their influencers. So yeah, this was a real moment and a real founder story, you know, starting it off in her parents', you know, attic all the way through to where they are today. So yeah, great episode to listen to.
We still do the market.
Do you?
Last Sunday of every month. But there we sell secondhand, Never Fully Dressed or pre-loved. So that it's just engagement, like engaging with the community. The pre-loved is a great scheme because you can sell to each other as well online now. So that encourages engagement or communication between the customers, community. Next week we're doing a yoga event. It's free, or you have to pay the administrative, do you know what I mean, a few pounds, but like it's a free event. Like stuff like that actually reward, like give back to the community, even if it's in time, if it's in a freebie and or whatever it can be. All amalgamation of all of those things has to feel genuine, and for them to be part of that journey. So a lot of people, again, maybe it's a trend, but do that BTS or bring you on that journey with them. But people are much more invested in it. I think people really feel on that journey with you.
The final clip we have, this is my pick, is Brad Farrell from Beekman, and Beekman 1802, which is an incredible skincare brand. And the way that Brad as CMO like articulates how their values are baked into everything they do. This idea of kindness is kind of core to them as a value, as a brand. And this isn't just like some words on the wall that no one talks about. It's in everything they do. It's kind of it is their being, and it's not just something that they want to do. It's how they exist. And so I love the way he talks about that and how kindness bakes into it. And I think that when it comes to brand purpose and how day to day to tactically bring that to life, I think that this is, again, one of the best examples I've heard on the podcast.
Our customer service really is one of the best around, like our neighbor services, we call it, because all of our customers we consider our neighbors. And that's how the company started, with our two founders wrapping bars of soap around their dining room table with their neighbors. And we continue to have that level, like extremely high level. We have one of the highest NPS scores in the industry of service. So it really is infused in our HR. We also have on our company-wide Slack channel, we have an app called Benny that he is our kindness ambassador. And every day you get a prompt from Benny about do an act of kindness, or celebrate someone in the organization, and then everyone gets to see it, and it really catches on, and it creates this kindness within our organization that I've never really experienced before. It's fun. Like, we've gamified kindness internally and we have kindness challenges. We did like a kindness Olympics with the Olympics recently, and we were all competing like who could be kinder. So it really does kind of infiltrate every part of our organization.
I love that. That was fun. It's just great to kind of like look back, because actually, to be honest with you, I actually had never really listened to any of our episodes because
I can't stand the sound of my own voice.
Yeah, I can't listen to my own voice. It's just like weird. So it's just like, is that good? And someone's like, yeah, it's good. It's like, cool. What did you think of the edit? I was like, I'm definitely not listening to an hour of me talking. That cannot cope with that. So it's nice to kind of hear things back again and just like, yeah, it feels nice.
I just want to say massive thank you to everybody. I want to say massive thank you to our guests. As you've seen there, we've had some incredible people on. We've talked about so many people already today. So yeah, big thank you to everyone involved.
For me, like, I'm so grateful to everyone who's helped bring this to life. Everyone who's helped been editing with it, to Scarlett, who's at the back producing right now. And of course, massive thanks to you, Verity. You are a hero. You made this podcast what it should have been in the first place after joining. I'm so pumped for that. And I think finally, just thank you so much to everyone who listens to this, everyone who subscribes. If you're not subscribing, check it out. If you put it on your YouTube as well, you can watch you can see people's actual faces. And make sure you follow on the social channels as well, Building Brand Advocacy, everywhere that you could look. So thank you so much. Massive love to you all.
That was another episode of Building Brand Advocacy, the world's top brand building podcast. To find out more about Building Brand Advocacy and how this podcast is part of a bigger plan for our brand building cookbook, then make sure to search for Building Brand Advocacy in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or anywhere else that podcasts are found, and make sure that you click subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks to Duel for sponsoring. To find out more, go to www.duel.tech, that's duel.tech. And on behalf of the team here at Building Brand Advocacy, thanks for listening.